I feel like when AI first came on the scene, I was like, this is kind of creepy. This is kind of like freaky, and I'm not sure if I like it. But the more I learn to use AI for good, and I find all these really cool tricks that can make my life so much easier and make my business grow so much more, the more I'm like, hell yes, we love AI here. So today I'm going to share with you a few different ways that I, in my business, am personally using AI to help me make more money and make my business run a little bit smoother. I'm Kristen Busquet. I've been a full-time creator for over 3 years, and I've brought in over $350,000 from sponsored posts and content creation collaborations with brands so far. Social Scoop is the podcast where we teach you, the entrepreneurial creator, to turn your online influence and creativity into a profitable, self-sustaining business. Like I said, I feel like I was definitely a skeptic at one point, but I specifically have been like hardcore learning to use ChatGPT, and I literally don't know how I survived without it. It's really so crazy to see just how much time it actually saves you. And I feel like for me personally, because I wear so many different hats in my business, I'm so constantly doing like 5,000 different things that my creative brain sometimes is just like running on E. And so what's really nice about AI is I can kind of use it to start getting my wheels turning and like start generating ideas. And that's actually like a huge way that I use AI for so many different aspects of my business. The first being brainstorming new brands to work with. So I one day actually saw someone shared a prompt that was related to kind of like finding new like customers for your business. I found someone who shared some sort of prompt about helping to find new customers in your business, and I said, why can't I do something similar to this but for finding new brands to work with as a creator? One of the things I feel like I hear from creators so often is just like, I can't think of any brands to work with, or I've already like tapped into all the brands that I love. I just need to find some like new ones that I maybe don't know about yet. And so I went to ChatGPT and I shared a prompt and I actually shared it on my Instagram. I put in a prompt that was essentially like, here's exactly who I am. Here's what my business does. So I always kind of like give it that context first so it knows what I want out of it. And then I asked it to create a list of maybe 20 under the radar brands that I could potentially partner with. If I didn't put the under the radar kind of like term in there, I found that it would give me very, very basic brands. Or even outside the box is another one that I like to use. I didn't want it to give me brands that I probably have already reached out to or probably have already worked with. So I asked it for either outside the box brands or under the radar brands. And it gave me this list of brands that I was like, I've never heard of any of these, which was incredible. And I ended up reaching out to some of them. So if I had not used that prompt in ChatGPT, I probably would not have known about those brands without doing like some deep research. So this saved me so much time. And I think that's one of the best things about AI is it really is such a time saver. And again, as a business where maybe you don't have the budget to outsource a whole team, or maybe you don't have a ton of free time, this is such a nice way to get more done in just a smaller amount of time. So I absolutely loved this prompt. Another thing that I have used ChatGPT for is actually just generating more creative ideas for partnerships. One of the things that I personally get stuck on is like, how, if I'm going to work with this brand, how do I make this ad not look like an ad, right? Like, I want to share all the benefits of the brand. I want to encourage people to sign up or go purchase it, but I also don't want it to feel like really obvious and salesy and have people just scroll because they're kind of annoyed with it. So I very often will do this in ChatGPT. I'll kind of go and say, here's the website of the brand that I'm working with. Here's ideas that I don't like. Here are some things that I'd like to really focus on. If the brand gave me a brief, I'll also put like all of the talking points in there. And then I will see what it comes up with. I'll say, hey, come up with 10 different content ideas for a 30-second video that is, like maybe fun, interactive, and helps, get all these talking points out on the forefront. and I get so many good ideas. For example, just this morning I recorded it. I don't know when you guys will see it and compared to this episode, honestly. I feel like time is I don't know what time is right now. So I it was creating a video for a brand partner of mine called Tango. So it's essentially this I don't know exactly how to even word it, but it's basically a Google Chrome extension where you can have it record your workflows and create like a PDF of here's everything that you just did. So, for example, if someone on my team, I'm trying to like show them how to, add something to a spreadsheet and then send it over to me instead of me like making a Loom video or something, I can literally just like do the process and then it automatically spits out a PDF and I can send it. And so I was doing a partnership video for this brand, but I was like, I don't want it to be like super basic and boring. So I asked ChatGPT to think of ideas and gamify them so that they would basically be more like fun games as an ad that I could like have people actually interacting with. And so it came out with this really fun idea that was like, how fast can you make a digital product? Because that's one of the things I wanted to highlight is just like how quick and easy it was. So it basically it told me like, get a stopwatch and like start the timer, create your digital product, and then show people how long it took. And it actually was such a good testament to how easy the product is. It took me 2 minutes and 17 seconds to create this whole PDF with like images and text and everything that I wanted to use as a freebie. And so I did that so quickly, and I was able to really show with the stopwatch idea just how quick it was to actually create this when using the product, using Tango. So I loved this idea. And sometimes I feel like I really just need like that second set of eyes or like that second brain basically to help me like think of something that's a little bit outside of the box, especially when I feel like everyone's doing the same things and I am just like tired of doing the same things. So I really love ChatGPT or just AI in general for creating like new partnership ideas. Another one that I want to share with you, and this is actually something that I learned from a friend of mine, Andrea Casanova. We were on a panel together at VidCon, and she shared this with the audience, and I was like, "Wow, that is so smart!" And I'm gonna try it. So, essentially, what she says that she does, and what I have done since learning this from her, she uses Otter AI. It's essentially like voice AI. So you can speak to it, or you could record a call or a video call, and it essentially will give you like AI summaries of that. So what she says she does is she's like, I go for a walk and I like just spit out all my ideas. Like I spit out all my ideas of my marketing plan or all the things I want to do in the day, etc. And I transcribe it all using Otter AI. Then she takes that transcription and throws it into ChatGPT and says, okay, based on all of this, make me a marketing plan, or based on all of this, make me a schedule for my day today. And this is just so smart, right? Like we could literally have like a free personal assistant in ChatGPT creating our daily schedule for us. So I loved this idea. I actually did it once for a schedule. I feel like I'm pretty good with making my own schedules. So what was more appealing to me with this was like the whole marketing idea thing, like marketing campaign. So what I did was I went on a walk and I basically said, like, here's all of the ideas that are floating around in my brain, because sometimes it feels like there's just so much floating around. And I'm like, how do I execute on this? Like, what do I do first? What makes sense? What like questions should I be asking myself to like nail these ideas down more? And so I spit out every idea that I had in my brain, and I did that into Otter AI literally while I was taking my dog for a walk, got back, downloaded the transcription, threw it into ChatGPT and said, here are all my ideas. Make me a marketing plan for the next quarter that incorporates all of these ideas. And I always will tell it too, whenever I'm doing something like that, I'll tell it to put it in table format. So it literally will spit out like a whole table for me versus just a bunch of text. I feel like as a very visual person, like I really love seeing that table come out. And so chef's kiss. It was amazing. Such a good hack. So we're going to thank Andrea for that one. But let Otter AI listen to you, throw it in ChatGPT, and then ask them to do what you want them to do. One of the next things that I wanted to share with you was something that I actually use ChatGPT for every single week, and that is actually writing our newsletter. So at first, when I wanted it to do this, I was not loving the results because it really just didn't sound like me talking. So maybe earlier this year, one of our social suite members, Kate, whose handle is drop the ish, you should definitely go follow her. Kate did an AI workshop in Social Suite, which is still available now for Social Suite members. If you want to pop in there, it's always in there for you to check out. And she taught us how to get AI to actually speak like us and like learn our language, learn our tone, learn the way that we type, the way that we speak. And so essentially what you do is you kind of like throw in a bunch of your examples of like captions you've written, or maybe even your transcription from Otter AI, things that show like how you talk or how you write, and you throw it in there and say, okay, now analyze all of this for like voice, tone, wording, etc. And they'll give you this nice like analyzing of analyze, what is the word I'm looking for? They'll analyze it for you and essentially like spit out, here's what your voice sounds like, here's the tone, here's like things about the vocabulary. And I did that and I named it Kristen's writing style. So now what I'll do is I'll say, here's the podcast episode, here are all the talking points that we talked about in this podcast episode, like based off my outline that I'm literally reading off right here. And then I said, using Kristen's writing style, write me a newsletter for the email this week that's going to help advertise this podcast. So literally, I will change like very few things. At this point, it really can speak so much like me. And especially like, if there's any like personal stories that I want to incorporate or anything, I will literally hit the microphone button on my computer and just speak the story out and be like, make this newsletter very anecdotal and include this story. And it will literally like write up the story for me. So I use that just about every week, every Tuesday when we do the podcast. So take advantage. Like, we have this available to us. It is such an easy way to, oh, I don't have time for a newsletter. Okay, make it help you. Like, let ChatGPT, let AI help you. It's not bad that it's writing the newsletter. I essentially wrote the newsletter. It's just putting it into words for me, right? Like, everything that's in there is like things I'm speaking to ChatGPT or saying, okay, make sure you say this, make sure you say this. It's all my ideas. It's just putting it into words for me. And honestly, sometimes I feel like that's the hardest thing, is just like, how do I want to explain this to people? So it makes it just so much easier. The next thing that I want to share is actually brainstorming LinkedIn or Threads content. I actually use this very often on ChatGPT. It's kind of just a use case of mine that I dip into very often. I feel like a lot of creators that I have conversations with are like, what do I post on LinkedIn? Like, you want me to post on LinkedIn? I get that, but I have no idea what to say. And so this is a really nice way for you to get some ideas rolling. So I very often will say, here's what I do, here's my business, like, here are things I usually talk about, here's like my authority, like where I stand on, certain things in my industry. Now, can you make me a list of 20 different ideas for Threads or 20 different ideas for LinkedIn that I can create posts about? And so usually we'll spit out some ideas, and then I will have it take, okay, I like this idea, I like this idea, I like this idea. Now go ahead and write that for me in Kristen's writing style. And you have to get specific with ChatGPT specifically. Like, you have to, if I want every LinkedIn post to start with like one sentence that's just like a really hard hitter that's going to make people actually stop and read that, I'm going to tell ChatGPT, format it with a really hard hitting, eye opening sentence right at the beginning so that we can get people to stop and actually read the rest. So get specific on what you want ChatGPT to give you, and it will give it to you, but you just have to learn how to ask it. I think that's one of the most challenging things. What's crazy, literally even today, this podcast episode, every podcast episode, I'll literally say, here's the topic, here are all the ideas that I have, outline this for me. And it That is literally what I'm reading from, is an outline that I just played around with a little bit, tweaked a tiny bit, and that's literally what I'm doing this podcast episode from. So those are 5 different ways that I use AI, and I wanna actually give you a bonus that's, like, business related, but also not, that I did last night. I'm very excited about it. So for me, one of the things that I've been trying to do more or learn more about is investing. It's something I'm so intimidated by because I just honestly like don't really know what to do. Like I don't know where to put my money. I just don't know where to start. Like it feels very jarring to me, like feels very intimidating. And so I went on Chat GPT and I said, I'll literally read it to you word for word. Let me pull it up. Let's see. I was in an investing class as I was doing this, and like I understood a lot of what they were saying, and it was like it was still very helpful, but I also was just like I just still need someone to just make a plan for me. And then I went, oh my gosh, why am I not asking ChatGPT to do this? So I said, I own a business registered as an LLC. I am on the payroll and I file an S Corp election each year. I am the business's only employee. My payroll as an individual each year is 27,000. That's literally something that me and my CPA agreed upon as a reasonable income, quote unquote. The business brings in about $187 this year. You are a top rated, well known financial advisor. Please write an in depth, extremely detailed investing plan for me individually and as a business, considering I am someone who has nothing invested and no investment accounts open. Put this plan in a table format and give me specific date ranges for each step. This is like the most well thought out plan ever. I was a little worried because I was like, I don't really want to ask ChatGPT to give me like investing advice because, like, is that sketchy? Like, should I trust it? But it didn't give me like enough specifics that I think it is guiding me like a CPA would, but it's just giving me step by step. So, like, it's like phase 1, foundation step for you individually. First, open a high yield savings account. Second, open a Roth IRA. Third, budget review and adjustment, timeline for each of those. And then it also has like a section of detail slash action items. So it's like under, for example, open a high yield savings account. Use this account for your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of personal living expenses. Consider online banks like Ally or Marcus. Target savings 10,000 to 15,000 given your current income as an emergency fund goal. Like specific enough and so helpful, right? So this I'm so excited to actually like go through and do all of this. But I just was like so floored that I hadn't tried this before. So I highly recommend, like, if there are things you're confused about, do not be afraid to at the very least use Chat GPT as a way to just get your wheels rolling, to get things kind of like just off the ground. Now you have some sort of solid plan or some sort of solid insight or research or advice, and then you can go ahead and customize the rest. But this is a great way to just get the foundational steps done for you so that you can keep rolling, right? So I hope this was helpful. I honestly, as a skeptic of AI at the beginning, I feel like I'm a full ass fan now. And so I hope this could help you maybe do the same. If you have any questions, please let me know. My DMs are always open. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time. Bye.